Interesting that you mentioned that the main thrust still is domestic tourism, because Secretary Romulo Puyat herself also mentioned that the hope is to actually reinstate international travel as well, or resume international travel. Is that a wise thing to do now, seeing the surge in COVID-19 cases as well as the spread of COVID-19 variants?
Now, we will leave it up to the IATF to determine when would be the best time to reopen our borders to inbound leisure tourists. On the part of the DOT, what we're doing is developing models that will allow movement eventually from abroad to the different destinations here in the Philippines under a travel bubble concept. So I think what we want to just impress upon the general public and the stakeholders is that we're able to put all these health and safety protocols in place to make sure that any efforts to reopen destinations will be done in a safe and sustainable manner.
Do you have markets in mind for that travel bubble?
The interests has so far come from the short-haul markets, particularly Northeast Asia. But this is something that we will have to work on, moving forward. But there's been a lot of interest expressed by our travel trade partners from Korea, Japan, and China. And many of them have expressed their interest to bring their tourists to our resort destinations when the borders are reopened.
What specific resort destinations here is piquing their interest at least?
The ones that have been mentioned include Boracay, Bohol, and Palawan. So, of course, there are a lot more options available here in the Philippines, but this is something that we will have to pilot, test, make sure that we are able to debug the whole customer journey to make sure that it is seamless. But we're quite confident that we can do it because all the health and safety protocols in all the critical touch points have already been provided for under the guidelines that we have crafted in the deal.
So it's safe to say that there is an appetite for international travelers to actually visit the country. And when do you see this happening? Do you have a specific timeline in mind?
It's very difficult to come up with a specific timeline because this will, while the appetite is there, we have to take note of two things. Number one is that there are restrictions on the outbound market coming from the respective governments, and on the part of the receiving country or receiving destination, which is the Philippines, of course, as entry of foreign tourists, leisure in particular, is still restricted. But what is important is the appetite is still there. A lot of interest has been manifested by our partners in the course of our B2B or business-to-business sessions, in the course of our marketing promotions, which continue even while we are under an ECQ at the moment.